good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve, and I'm here today to give you some idea about the lighting knowledge and applications about Unilamp. Actually, the purpose of this webinar is just not to give you the lighting designers points of view or just like more overview about the lightings, but what we want to imply here is just how we can support you and also how the products that we manufactured are applicable for almost of the projects that you are working with. So bear with me. I'm going to discuss all the topics that are shown in this table of contents. So introduction, probably we'll do the introductions. Then I'll go with the landscape lighting application. Then under the lighting applications, we have the color temperature and beam selection, landscape lighting materials for design preparations. This is also very important because sometimes we receive some inquiry or requests coming from you guys. Then we need these materials. Also, to the hospitality lighting, and I want to make these presentations as much as possible more on the projects that we have done in the past. In order, it's easy for all of you to absorb what we are discussing here. And also, I'll give you some idea about the urban lighting. And lastly, I'm going to have the architectural lighting, which is commercial facades. How we're going to light it up these buildings, like also until to the holistic and historical structure. To start with, actually, this is one of the introductions that I always like to emphasize. Why do we need artificial lighting? Actually, when we say artificial lighting, it must be good artificial lighting. Unilamp is producing or manufacturing artificial lighting, so everyone knows it. So during the daytime, we know that there's a sun and also with the clouds. So combinations that one we have the daylight, which is daylight actually is very subjective. Probably sometimes we have the clear sky or overcast sky or cloudy. So it depends on the sky structure or sky behavior that we get the daylight. Probably sometimes it's dark or very bright. So during the daytime, we get the vast brightness coming from the sun. We can actually easily get like distinguish colors. We can easily get uh, see the objects or some obstructions ahead of us. And also, we can also appreciate the architectural structures, like, for example, facades or building. And also, safety-wise, it's quite safe during the daytime because it's bright. Everything is visible. And also, it's for crime occurrence is very negligible. So mostly, like we see all things during the daytime because of the sun. So what about if the sun goes down until we reach very dark situations, like in the twilight? So that's why the artificial lighting comes in. So with artificial lighting, we can again we can appreciate the objects surrounding us. We can see people. We can see those obstructions, and also probably with the help of the with the artificial lighting, we were able to prevent the some occurrence that we don't expect to. And also we need artificial lighting uh, with the proper design specifications as well. We don't put like vast numbers of luminaires with different lighting distributions, and also with the so much wattage. That's not also good design for artificial lighting. So we must be responsible as a designer also. The designer also must be responsible uh, what luminaire that he's going to design for certain applications. At the same time, making sure that safety also will be considered for designing the artificial lighting. So I'll go on again with the course considerations in good lighting practices. Actually, For human needs, we need visibility. So this is very straightforward explanations, task performance, also visual comfort, and social communications. Probably social communications I elaborate further. So normally for social communications, for example, that you are walking along the street, when you meet people, this is like a nonverbal communications. So you can see the face detections, or probably by face detections you can determine whether there's something to scare off. So for mood and appearance, I think very self-explanatory. If the light and buildings are properly lit with some artificial lighting, good artificial lighting, probably you will have appreciate the things been installed, been designed, and also color temperature as well. If for example, if like color temperature, if you are staying on the like for example in a resort that you need very warm color to relax, but if you are staying in the office applications, then you need a very white light in order to boost your system, or you boost your effectiveness to work. Otherwise, if you put like a warm color, maybe you feel sleepy. So it depends on how we specify and also what color temperature that we are using. So everything this one will be like need to be synchronized, and also health, safety, and well-being. So normally, the health and safety well-being, artificial lighting is contributes a lot during the nighttime. For example, if you are installing a street lighting which is near the house area, and the backlit of that street lighting causes light trespass in a certain window. So also it will affect to the people who are using the bedrooms or using this area. So it's not good as well. And also if you install there with a street lighting or with street light or outdoor lighting like with a stroboscopic effect, probably it's not good also for the motorists when you're driving. So you will feel also like from the glare. So sometimes it causes also accidents. So aesthetic judgment. So yeah, it depends on it's a very broad actually explanations for the aesthetic judgment. So we will go to the economics. So economics, mostly we need to consider the installations. Are we going to install the product? And also after installations, how are we going to maintain? And is it the operations is smooth? And most of the time, we are concerned about the energy saving and how much energy that we're going to use. So that's why the design always comes in before we make a certain specifications, or probably before we make some decisions to specify in a certain project. The environment actually this is like we are concerned about right now because of the carbon usage that we use. So we need to make it sure that when we use those, when we specify lighting fixtures, it will last for a certain period of time. It's not like just you use now through it the next day. So it will contribute to the environment as well, and also like sample for like dark sky and all of this stuff. So architecture, when we are when we are considering the architecture, as I've said, we have to consider the factors in good lighting practices. So architecture, when we analyze the structure, we need to know the form, the compositions, and also the styles. And of course, we make it sure that we must also understand the code and standards. So these are all actually the factors that we need to consider when we do the good lighting design. So if we incorporate everything these factors that I mentioned, probably we can have the quality lighting quality. So actually I listed down all these explanations, but I just make it summarize. I'll go with the next slide. So landscape lighting, Unilamp, right? Everyone knows Unilamp. We are outdoors lighting manufacturer, and we are specialized for actually mostly of our applications are for landscaping. So that's why we take this subject to discuss more how we can relate into our daily business. So not only the discussing about the design, and also we try to imply here how we can apply the product that we are carrying. for landscaping. So actually, landscape it includes like both natural and environments, and so like parks, offices. Also, they have some landscape area, hotels, golf course, gardens, and like some of the uh, numerous numbers of applications, especially for landscaping. So we need to make it sure that when we specify the luminance, the source of luminance, the wattages, and also the color temperature, because it will have some contributions to the area or to the space that we are working with. Also, we have to consider as well the plants in the materials that we're using in landscaping. So designer's task is just to create mostly like safe, attractive during the nighttime environment. And also, end of the day, we are thinking about energy. So we must also consider when we do the design, we need to analyze everything. Like must be like energy efficient. Nowadays, I think mostly. Like the lumen per watt requirements is quite in demand. And aside from that, for some design considerations, actually the landscape was for everyone informations was like segregated into two category. It includes the softscape. So when we say softscape, this includes that how you're going to light it up, the trees, the shrubs, flowers, and other plant materials. And for hardscapes, all these like racks, cliffs, sidewalks, stairs, fences, pathway, water features, and uh, and everything like more on the landscaping that doesn't involve about the growings of like trees or plants. So these are all like considered for hardscapes. So there are also steps that we're going to analyze when we are doing this landscape considerations for design. We need to determine the intended use of space, nature of audience, and realize the significant area in daytime may not be the same as significant during the nighttime. Normally for landscaping, we need always to highlight the local points. We need to locate the major and minor local points in order to enhance further, in order to create more appealing appearance or appealing, convincing appearance as well. And designer's knowledge, we need to know actually the characteristics, especially for materials, especially for the plants. When we are considering to design the landscaping, mostly we need to make it sure that we know more of the details about the plants in order we can have also a right specifications, proper wattage, proper beam angles. So we need to know the overall shape, height, width, and also the maturing age of the plant. How many years it will grow, and also type of the foliage characteristics, the shape, the color, and then we can determine which color temperature that we're going to specify. Also, we need to consider as well if this tree is like when it browns widely, the dense bright, or it's just like weeping. Like also we need to consider as well some seasonal changes of the locations. So all of these things that when that's involved in landscaping that we have to take into considerations. We need to know the characteristics of the trees or plants that have been specified or been designed in the landscape. So I will go along with color temperature as well is like it plays important role in landscape design. So normally if you have like very warm materials or like dark materials, it's better to enhance that one with probably with the 3000K 1700 to make it more darker, or it will be more blended with the color temperatures of the lamp. But if the color is more cooler, or the texture is much more whiter, Sometimes we use the 4000K in order to give more enhancement to the structure. So you can see here the two comparisons that I made, the 3000K and also with the 4000K. So the same locations of fixtures. Uh, Actually, the actual color of this one is I think like brown. So when I highlight the 3000K, it's like creating like more brownish, more warmer than when I use with 4000K, it looks like more whiter. So it depends actually of individual perceptions how they're going to attain a right color temperature. So actually for outdoors lighting, if you want to have like more subtle appearance, more relaxed atmosphere, probably you need to like to warm it. You have to use the 3000K or 2700, more relaxing. While color light creates more lively gestures. So normally you can see like if you feel like more lively applications in certain area, you need to have like maybe you have to use the 4000K, or some people they use the RGBW. It depends. So you have the layaway. Also, beam selections as well is very important in landscaping. So as you know, we have in Unilamp here, we have a lots of variations of beams that can actually can specified or can be offered to our customer in order to enhance what the intended application. So we have 12 degrees until to the vertical H or vertical B. So as I've said, beam selection is very important. So specific distributions that I prepare also. For example, if you are like if you want to highlight small sculpture, if you want to wash it uniformly, probably you can use the elliptical V shape. And sometimes if you need to have like some accent lighting, probably with some variations of brightness, so you can also use combinations between medium beam and wide beam. Actually, for our wide beam, for the tree, like about 3 meters, you can use the wide beam. Then it can reach until 3 meters. You can fully highlight it. At the same time, if you want to highlight rocks, like you want to make it more outstanding, also that you did, and also to create some drama effect, maybe you can use also the elliptical H to highlight that one. Rocks or probably with some pathway with the low lighting. So glowing buses as well, some techniques how to glue the buses. You need to have to use to diffuse, very diffuse distribution. So you need to have a use, you need to specify the wide beam angle, wide angle. At the same time, for example, you have like architectural structure or probably like a canopy that you intend to highlight more uniformly every columns. Then you need to decide whether you need to use the medium beam or narrow beam. But I guess in order to prevent also from like glare, better use the narrow beam in order the beam spread will be focused on the structure. So these are all the possibility if you make you're using different beams angle. So the next slide here will also give you some idea how far that we can use the narrow beam, wide beam, and also the medium beam with the same output of illuminance. So selecting the right luminaire for any given distance, the farther the distance, the lower the beam angle recommendations. So you can see here we use the wide beam with a 3 meter setback from the wall. You have this think around 150 lux. So when you use also the medium beam, then you set back about 5.5. Almost the same, get the same illuminance on the wall. But if you go further, 15 meters, then you use the narrow beam, so still the same. You can get the same amount of brightness on the wall. So that's why we need to play around. We need to analyze what really beam selections that we need to specify in a certain project. So it's very subjective. It depends also on the setback and locations, and also the same on the requirements and wattages. So landscape materials, normally if we're working with landscaping, landscape design, as I mentioned earlier, we have this hardscape and subscape. So what we need to have is just to have this drawing, the hardscape drawing, probably the site drawing or the landscaping. Sections is very important also, and elevations, in order we can determine properly the height of the tree, the height of structures, and also if they have swimming pool, we know also the depths of the swimming pool, and then we can specify the right luminaire for certain applications. Soapscape as well is very important. We know the locations of the tree. Probably not all the trees will be highlighted in a certain area, but we need to pick which types of the tree are going to give some emphasis. Also, like if you have the sections and elevations, you can actually evaluate further or like to decide whether which wattage on the beam angles for soapscape lighting. So I'll give you some idea also for the hospitality. This is not usual presentations for like what the lighting designers given you, that give you like more talking about the project. Here is like an actual project that we did for hospitality. So actually hospitality lighting, the intention of this one to have low-K lighting. So everything like maybe not so bright, but more on drama and experience that you're going to have after you visited. So these are the area that normally we analyze the area, which area that we're going to give some emphasis, and also in order as well, we can decide what concept that we're going to the approach of concept that we're going to implement. So this is here I noted that this is like a main building. So this is your main building. This is your entrance actually, and this is the parking area. You have the swimming pool at the back of the resort, and you have also the alfresco dining, which is situated here. And under that alfresco dining, besides that, they have the wall water features and also the villas. So the concept is that is we need to have like welcoming effect. How we going to achieve that? Also emphasize the architectural ornaments and the dramatic lighting effect on surrounding. So resorts, you are there to relax, not to have more activity, more on the relaxations mode. We don't need to like flood everything, every pathway. So we need to create like mood lighting, like more drama. And also, there are some sculptures and landmarks that we need to also give some importance. So we highlight that one. We highlight also the structures, and also we play also with light and shadow. So this is one like playing with the moon lighting effect. So what we achieve during the daytime, probably we want to simulate during the nighttime. So pathway lighting is also very important. We need to have like not all the pathways purely uniformly lit, but probably we need to have to put like a guide light only, like orientation lighting. And aside from that, for some like we need to have like to create more shadows on walls, so we do some silhouette lighting. So here's again for pool lighting. Pole lighting is very we need to have a very specific locations of the pole as well, of the luminaire on the pole in the pole, because the moment you made some mistake, probably it will cause also unpleasant glare or discomfort glare uh, from the people who are using the pole. So it's not a good practice if you just spread all the luminaire and in the pole without analyzing the proper locations and also the height of installations. And aside from that, there are some water features here in this project that I mentioned. So we need to make it sure that we also pick it up and highlight it. So Unilamp, we have a linear underwater which you can apply to this kind of applications. So bear in mind, as I discussed, I want this webinar just to open up your mind that not only in like more on the product support that you can get, but also we can support you also for designing or probably some recommendations in a project that you work with without any lighting designer involved. And also it will also open up your mind how you're going to giving you some idea how to boost your market as well in a certain in your regions. So at the same time we have this eye-catching effect on the building structures. So we use our wall luminaire probably with a spread widespread or just like a very thin narrow beam straight on each column. Also functional lighting like for villa, we just want to highlight it. And moonlighting effect, which is mostly some of the landscape designer or lighting designers as well. They want to create like this subtle effect, like moonlight, like a moon, from in want to get same like nearly the same appearance during the daytime and nighttime. So they use this kind of moonlighting effect. That the light coming from above, not from the below. So tree uplighting, this is very common for landscaping. So you need to highlight the tree, but you need to pick only those trees that are very prominent. Otherwise, you end up with numerous numbers of uplighting, which is not also good. Also steps as well. We need to make it sure that for landscaping, we need to highlight the steps properly. So this is a full dining as well. We have this one. I run because I think the time that we allotted is quite tight. So this is the full dining experience. You have the moonlighting effect of trees, and also you have this one, the dining. So what we had here, we put the projectors, then we highlight the top of the umbrella in order to create like some glowing effect, but very subtle. With also with the louvers in order to prevent from discomfort glare. So atmosphere ambience. This is the overall looks of the project. And also, I mentioned this the welcoming effect. We want to have the welcoming effect. So, what fixtures that we need to install? We need to have a proper setback. We need to have a proper wattage, and also we need to know what beams that we're going to specify in order to get this kind of effect. This project actually, I want to show that when you highlight a plant or certain objects, it will create like a shadows on wall, like a patterns. So at the same time, for the water features, we highlight here the water cascade. You have the water cascade coming from this jar. Then we highlighted. Then also in the reality, probably in actual looks, it will have like moving effect here on the wall, which actually also will blend with the signage. So these are all the locations we do analysis, proper beam angles and setbacks, how far in order to make it sure that we enhance it properly, the space. At the same time here, we want to draw here like a very welcoming effect on the entrances. So we highlight columns. So highlighting columns is very subjective as well. Each other you will use the medium beam or narrow beam, but you need to do you need to do some analysis in order to make sure that you perfectly specify. And also, I want to draw a line here that you will like be reminded that you are coming out or coming in. So out of the lighting, so we need to emphasize through lighting effect. So we use the elliptical aids in order to create like a line here, but using lighting effect. Parking area, not a usual parking area, because we want to create experience and mood lighting. So we put some filter. We can put other filter here on the tree. Sorry, we can put filter here on the tree for moonlighting effect that can have the very cool effect on the surroundings. So at the same time, tree uplighting, probably you need to relocate properly which tree that you're going to highlight, and not all will be fully highlighted. And for sculpture, lighting is very important also in order to create drama. So if you flood all over this sculpture, probably it becomes flat. So you need to highlight only those very important parts or some of the ornaments that really more give more emphasis. You have to give more emphasis. So here we use some combinations between narrow beam and wide beam, and also we created the moonlighting effect. So for elephants, the most very I think more outstanding is the task. So and also the big ears. So we highlighted that one. We don't highlight fully the whole sculpture of elephant. Same time, during the daytime, you have some structures that the landscape architect been specified. So you need to make it sure that during the nighttime it will be highlighted. So there must be a purpose why they put the structure. So you need to show it also during the daytime, the nighttime. What I mean, it's good to take these considerations to create another elements and attractions during the absence of daylight. So making sure that we fully highlight and also the locations of the luminaire that is not like going towards the people who are looking the structure. So it will cause also glare. So location is very important, and also the beam angles and proper color temperatures. You need to make it sure that it's you need to do some considerations. And this one also again with the hospitality lighting, with the swimming pool I mentioned already. So steps and water features, we have a vast range for water features that you can make use with. For water cascades, we have the linear, how you're going to highlight the water cascades, and also how you're going to create drama on rocks and water. So it's a matter of imaginations how you're going to relate this one, and to give more emphasis, especially these water features. They are bit one of the landmarks of the resorts. So you need to have give some more outstanding effect. Probably with the high CRI as well, with at least about 80% of CRI, then probably will good appearance during the nighttime. Uh, so again, we have the hospitality, like I mentioned, with the moonlighting effect, and for steps and bollards, and that's it for landscape. So we go with urban lighting. Urban lighting, this is about more on the public safety. Not only like we are considering about the public safety effects and also concerns people in urban environments. Actually, we want to improve the quality of life and also well-being. We need to make in order to make this one more lively, more appealing. We need to give some importance to the structures like landmarks and also probably facade lighting. Actually, the urban lighting is a very broad applications, and also uh, as we are a manufacturer, also our exterior lighting manufacturer, we can cater all these applications as much as possible for outdoor for urban lighting. A dark lighting environment will always be persuade people not to go around. So for urban lighting, the more you have more brighter appearance, more brighter streets, or like some plaza, it will like convince people to come, and probably this one also will boost the opportunities for business. So we need to give some emphasis, and Unilamp are I think most of our products is also like applicable for these applications for urban lighting. Aside from that, urban lighting, we need to make it sure that also we are after for safety and as I mentioned, well-being. So we can see ahead all the obstructions, and probably we can prevent the crimes as well during the nighttime if the area if properly lit, and also the if the area is like properly lit, probably also it will boost the tourists like people coming to that area. So activity wise, it will go more, and I think people like more. What I mean, the city or certain area will be more progressive when you consider when you're designing about the urban lighting. So not only the brightness that we will consider, and also the safety, but also the beauty of certain structures or some landmarks that we need to highlight. So these are all the things that we need to consider when we have designed the urban lighting. We need to give emphasis to landmarks, monuments, and also very pertinent structures like bridges also. Bridge as well is good to highlight during the nighttime in order to give some importance or to uh, to boost more people interested to come to visit that place. As I mentioned, if we have the good proper design, good lighting distributions for urban lighting, we can have like pedestrians are not really worried, and also even the motorists it like easily get noticed that there is a pedestrian crossing. So normally for pedestrian, there's a lots of accidents also happen due to the poor lighting. Some of the like engineers, some municipality, they miss to consider these situations that they don't give actually emphasis to a proper design lighting for urban lighting. And street lighting wise, they use probably for CRI, or probably the spacing is too dense, or it's too far, which the uniformity is quite not good. And at the same time, the vertical illuminance is not so good. So like for this picture that I shown, you can see here that the girl is moving, going to the pedestrian, and there's a bicycle because it's like a bicycle path. Beside this one is a park. So actually, when we did the analysis, we need to have at least 30 lakhs average on this pathway. And also for pedestrians, about 50 lakhs. Proper analysis, proper locations, how much setback that we need to locate the pole for pedestrian crossing. So these are all the things that we need to consider, proper distributions, proper wattage, in order to make it economical as well. If we just consider only the aesthetic and also the brightness without considering the economical uh, cost situations, we will end up, paying a lot of bills end of the month. So we making sure that we fully design, we make some analysis, proper wattage, proper spacing, and also mounting height and also beam distributions. I think urban lighting, there are also some norms that we need to consider for urban lighting. Aside from like dark sky, they have also actually the obtrusive light limitations for exterior lighting installations. This is actually the standards that we need to also consider when we designing this one. So it belongs to like environment zone. We have E0 until to E4. So all of this one, you have some value that you need to consider that you will not exceed for a certain like upward light ratio. So you have the maximum percentage that you need to maintain. So if E4 is okay, you need about 15%, so no problem with that. But what about if you are situated between E1 and E2? So you need to make it sure that you need to consider. So, as I said, urban lighting is very important. Proper illumination levels, the right luminous specifications, and good design considerations will be contributed to productive and healthy well-being. So, like obtrusive lighting nowadays, some people doesn't realize that it also like affect the health and the well-being of like the people living in a certain space. For example, for residential area, you make it sure when you design the street lighting or like some post up there, make it sure that this the distributions or the light or the backlight will not going inside to the window, because during the daytime it will impede the deep sleep that the occupant of this building. So all of these things need to do some considerations, proper design, proper analysis, not just only assumption. So we do the proper engineering, proper design. So I go with the architectural lighting. So architectural lighting, to enhance architectural elements, buildings, aesthetic, and also out of this architectural lighting, you can also revisit the history. You can enhance the building, how long it's been there, been existing in a certain area. So you can also give significance to remind the history. And also the people's mode as well. You can have perceptions and connections to the space. So if you emphasize this properly, it will be like more harmonized and it can gives also identity to a certain locations or give values. So you need to make it sure that the features of the building can tell a story. You know, architect lighting can work and bring into life actually if you have designed, if you design properly the building or the structures. So aside from that, planning and survey is essential to evaluate the lighting concepts that need to be adapted. So there are some questions actually that we need to know to investigate. So, what are the principal viewing directions of primary lines of sight of the passersby? You need to make it sure that you identify which portions of the building are like viewable, are more outstanding. So you need to give some emphasis on that. What shape and objects this building, and what is the surface of the object like structure or color? So also, what object built environment like so precautions need to be taken to prevent roads being dazzled as well. So if you design like you need to do some down lighting or probably some up lighting, it will also create some mixed appearance. So you need to make it sure that you do some investigations. How can light pollutions be avoided? As much as possible, people are worried about the light pollutions. So you need to consider these questions as well. What needs to be done to ensure that the appearance of the neighboring buildings is not affected? So, for example, if you're like near another building, so you need to consider also whether your light is encroaching to the other side. So these are all the factors. So design also intent. We need to have outstanding lighting effects on the surroundings, reveal the architectural objects or structures in order to improve the space and creates highlights to capture attentions. And actually, the main focus here is to create memorable experience when it comes to lighting design. So when you go to a certain places, you see a nice building, lighted, nice design of light. So it will create also an experience and also memorable. I went to that place, I see this building, that becomes a landmark. So you need to consider the following five following uh, steps, structures and forms and dimensions, beast viewing locations that creates attraction, positions and locations of luminaire is very important. Otherwise, we install in a very difficult situations. You need to hire Spider-Man. So you need to pay Spider-Man to do some maintenance. Luminance and size and shape as well is very important. That's why lighting designers they like a small luminaire and shape as well, but powerful. Color temperatures and beams angles as well. You need to do a right considerations. And lastly, you need to have installations. Consider that easy to install and also easy to maintain. So right here, I give you some study regarding some requests that we received previous years ago. This is actually from India. Just want to share with you how we do the design, how we do the concept. This is normally lighting designer did as well. So we need the drawings, what ornaments, so in order we can evaluate what part of the building or to what side of the building that we're going to highlight, and also to create a design approach, and also to it's either dynamic or static lighting combinations or both. Then we need to make it sure that we evaluate the structure properly in order to give them a proper light concept. So what we did here, these are the locations of the building where there is a traffic flow, where actually the building viewed more outstanding. I think this area and also this area. Because the main road, and this area is like the property of other buildings. So we don't much give emphasis to this area. Probably the best portions of the building that we need to give emphasis is here. This side, the front side, and on the right hand side of the building. So design approach facades, we created the approach of the facades. We talked to the architect. They want a dynamic effect on lighting, so we use the RGBW. We can program. Depends on the event, and also probably we have the daily scene. We can create scenes, and also we highlighted all these building pertinent ornaments of the architecture. So we saw also we evaluate that there are screens here that if we backlit, maybe it can create more appealing appearance. So we backlit that one, and also the column. We make a column treatment. Also, aside from that, probably the internal glow coming from the interior will also contribute to the overall facades lighting. So these are all the things that we need to consider. So that one is the front view, and this one is on the other side view. So actually, when we did design this one, we try to segregate two different structure. So on the back side, we highlight only windows. So we can use our villa or window light for these applications. We revealed between the two structures. So on the front side, we use the RGBW to change color to create dynamic. And screen wall. What is the purpose of screen wall? Why they post the screen wall? So there must be something that you need to highlight it. So that's why we highlight also the screen wall, and also these wall patterns. They created like different sizes or length of this wall pattern. So we also pick that one in order to give another more additional attractions for the facades lighting. So indoor wise, there are some outsides like al fresco dining on the fourth floor. So luminary locations is placement is very crucial also. Like if you're staying in certain space but the glare is too much, discomfort glare. So locations very much more need to do proper locations and considerations, and in order that to give pleasant effect on the people using the space. So also not so bright, not so dark within the illumination level, and also within the standard. So we do this analysis. Aside from that, if we are like considering some facade holistic structure, this is the project that we uh, we we uh, we undergo in Philippines. So we need to know the structure. We need to know the history, how long this structure been built, and also we make it sure that when we know the history, we can replicate. We can give proper considerations how to highlight this building. So for me, after that, we get this structure, not no drawing at all. So we use the Google to see the location and what is the structure shape, and what are the neighboring also buildings if they have, and also we try to make some adjustment on the design. So this is the design concept that we did. We analyze the locations, front, left view, which portions that we need to highlight. But actually, these portions you need to highlight it 360, because at the back there's a plaza, there's a park here, so it would be viewed also directly from the plaza, and also front can be directly viewed from the road, and at the same time on the left hand side and the right hand side. So we highlight this one in a 360. So what are the concepts that we adopt it? So in order to give some emphasis or to give some highlights, I try to create like two tier of lighting color. The two tier level, I use the warm color from the podium to the second layer, and on the upper part I use the 4000K to make that one as like a more whiter, like floating on the clouds. So this is what I did. I based from the history that I read, based from the structure, I picked all this structure, like all this architectural ornament that very prominent. So emphasizing structure actually, you need to make it sure that that when they put a certain structure there on a building, on a facade, it must be a reason. So you need to highlight it. Also, window wise, try to create some highlight on the windows, just to emulate also the light coming from inside. So we treat the column to create column lighting effect. It is not a normal facades lighting that you just make flood, that just flood the whole structure. So Here we have the another area which you are looking here. So this side, so like as I mentioned, we highlight this one with the 360 because it's all over. When we check, we need to make it sure that it's fully highlighted all over the locations. So this side as well, you can see the building. So out of this one, you are inside the plaza, then you can also the same structure. So all these circular elements, window, we use the Luxbit to highlight it. We use the circular flexible one in order to highlight the the podium and the first floor. We highlighted with warm color using the narrow beam in order to highlight this column to make it more intense and more outstanding. And holistic, if you have the church, you have temples. Here in Thailand, we are famous for temples, so it becomes in the under the holistic. So different approach, different style of structures, and also we need history as well. We need to know what you need to give importance. Actually, this is like a temple outside the city. So they have the dragon here, like some balustrade dragon. We highlight the stairs, but we don't highlight it's more uniform. We create just like a guideline, and in order to give more emphasis on the structure. So we put some linear light to uplight here. We use some small projectors to highlight. We use some floodlight here. We don't use the pole here in order to create the obstructions as well for the eyesight. So all of this one, all the luminaire are being installed on the structure, but we try to hide it as much as possible in order that they can see only the lighting effect without the luminaire size. And also for historical structure, one another special project that we did in Sweden, we also given the chance to design. So again, we have another issue that we don't encounter that we don't have drawing. So all I have to do in order to create the concept and also to create the building to highlight I need to have the Google locations. So out of the Google locations, I evaluate further what's in the area, what's the side of the building that we need to highlight, which portions of the building that we give emphasis. So we do some analysis. So we highlight the prominent architectural ornaments to create concept and suitable for budget. Budget also is concerns here. So just to create more outstanding effect, so we play with the light and contrast. So that's why you notice this is the combinations of the RGBW on the side and also the warm color. So we pick all this this very prominent structure, especially the high pinnacle here and the outstanding column here, and also we pick the window. So this is the only thing that we need to make it sure that we give some like the wow effect to the building. So we make it sure that we specify a right luminaire and a right beam angle, and also location wise is very important. So you cannot have it, or you cannot get this kind of thing if you don't do the analysis. Especially if you just use only sometimes some people they use like Photoshop to highlight it, but in the end you don't know the setback, you don't know the beam angle that you're going to specify how it behaves on the structure. So for us, we do some analysis. We use software in order to make it sure that when we specify the product, is as much as possible in the actual situation, so it will be highlighted as what we intend to. So it's another view. Actually, we do also some check the Google Map during the night time. They have also some activity here like al fresco dining again here. So we just recommend to have the wall lamp, which is also blend with the structure, like more on the contemporary probably because Unilamp we don't have much on the classic type wall lamp. So we try to introduce as much as possible as close as that to blend the structure. So we use the stick here to blend with the building and also with the history of the building. So evaluate the activity during the nighttime, then you can design suitable situations and locations need to harmonize with the building's facade style and form. Uh, okay, right. We answer first this one. How do you decide the most suitable color temperature and beam angle when designing a scheme? So normally, we need to make it sure first that what we are designing, we evaluate the structure and also probably the form and the history of this structure. And also we need to pinpoint which portions of the building or facades or like uh, for landscaping, what size of the structure or trees, then we can decide which is suitable. But mostly for outdoors lighting, we prefer to have like a warm color, 3000 K color temperature. Sometimes resorts they want more warmer, so we decided to use the 2700. But like for commercial area, maybe urban streets or urban like parks as well, they prefer to have like more 4000 K. So for beam angle, as I mentioned, we need to decide how big is the structure and probably how big is the tree, and also then we can decide. So another question: do you find different color temperature preference in the different parts of the world? So mostly for outdoors lighting, I think it's very common that they rather use the 3000 K. So almost similar to part of the world, like from Asia, probably from Europe as well. They still use they prefer to have the 3000 K, or probably more warmer than that. Uh, in Hong Kong, they like to have more whiter. So probably they're more like on the 4000 K. So wall washer linear for from wall offset. This is very subjective. It depends on the beam angle that you are using. But normally, if you want to have the wall washer, it's either you need to have asymmetrical beam, then you set back around 1 meter. So sometimes there are some limitations for the setback. So if you want to wash the wall also, so you need to use like probably elliptical shape, elliptical edge. Then you need to set back around zero point 0.2 meters. And also for Unilamp, we have this high power LED for Sirius. This one gives you also a good wall bracing. Are there any emerging trends of technologies in outdoor lighting that you find particularly existing or challenging? Normally for outdoors lighting, these technologies is like for the IoT. You know, you need a fully control about the lighting situation. You need an IoT. But there are many manufacturers also that provide the independent controls. Like last time we worked with the Lumen Radio that you don't need to pay every month. You just install the Saga Book A10 on the top of the Lumine socket. Then you can connect uh, the the gadget that they have. You can connect you can buy with Lumen Radio the connectivity. So you don't need you have only one first cost. You don't need to pay every month. But the only problem you cannot monitor through clouds, but you can control through phones, through computers. So if you have not much more questions, then maybe later you can email us. But for now, thank you very much for your time. Maybe next time, if you want to have this kind of webinar, please give us a specific topic, then we can prepare. Not only for lighting, but more on the technical knowledge that you want to learn, what Unilam can support in order to boost the business in your region. So, once again, thank you very much, and have a nice weekend.